2025 marks the 20th anniversary of Revenge of the Sith, and so far for LEGO Star Wars in 2025, we only have 2 sets rumored for the entire first half of the year to celebrate that anniversary, with the ARC 170 and Plo Koon Starfighter. As great as those 2 sets sound on paper though, 2 sets just doesn't feel like enough to celebrate Revenge of the Sith's anniversary, especially considering in 2024, we got 6 whole sets to celebrate the Phantom Menace's 25th anniversary. To put it simply, I'm definitely expecting a lot more out of LEGO Star Wars in the second half of 2025, so I've created a list of 10 LEGO Star Wars sets that I would love to see to celebrate the Revenge of the Sith anniversary next year, and I've saved the best for last. There are some banger sets that I'm really praying finally see the light of day next year. By the way, I've been preparing, and even if LEGO does drop the ball, I've got tons of Revenge of the Sith content lined up for 2025, so if you're not subscribed already, get subscribed, hit the like button if you're excited, and let me get into my list of Revenge of the Sith sets. One of the easiest slam dunk sets they could make next year has got to be an updated Grievous chase. We saw an original version back in 2005, we saw an updated wheel bike in 2014, but I think it's time to complete the package again, and many fans noticed that in the LEGO Avatar lineup a couple years ago, there was a specific molded head that could definitely work very well for Obi-Wan's green lizard. Like, there definitely is a potential that LEGO has been thinking about this for a couple of years and was playing the long game with that particular mold. Fingers crossed. Now, for this set, I envision it coming in at $50 or $60, probably $60 given the Grievous tax, but you'd get the wheel bike, you'd get the big Boga green lizard, of course, General Grievous as figure 1, Obi-Wan as figure 2, and then I thought a fun third figure would be someone we've never had before in Tion Medon. Hopefully I pronounced that right, but he's the one that goes like 10th level, thousands of battle droids, that guy. So I think just as your 3 figures, that's about perfect for $60, and you're done out the door. You got a new Grievous chase, and it would sell like hotcakes. For this next set, I was trying to think of a creative way to get Aayla Secura, Commander Bly, and a 327th Trooper all into one set, and I came up with a spider droid on Felucia. They're off in the distance, but they are certainly there, and so you could have the spider droid with 3 battle droids, or 3 super battle droids, doesn't really matter, taking on Bly, a 327th, and Aayla Secura, and of course it's got that hint of Order 66 where the clones can turn on the Jedi, but for the purposes of the set, maybe they don't want to go that dark with it. Unless the build was downsized from previous spider droids, I see a set like this very likely coming in at around $50, and I think overall a lot of people would flock to this one for those minifigs. While a big Kashyyyk playset may certainly feel like a pipe dream, there actually was a time where it may have been kind of close to happening in the mid-2000s. There exists a prototype of a LEGO Star Wars Kashyyyk playset at the LEGO offices, or at least there did when this picture was taken. I always thought this was Endor, but one day I finally zoomed in enough to read out Kashyyyk and realized that it's clone troopers and a Wookiee ornithopter with a couple of Kashyyyk trees, and I just got really excited by the idea that there could actually be a Kashyyyk playset one day in 2025 would present the perfect opportunity. They already explored this idea with Yavin 4 in 2023, so it's not too far-fetched that they could take the same idea and make a $180 Kashyyyk playset. For minifigs, I would expect a pair of Kashyyyk Scout Troopers, a pair of regular Phase 2 Kashyyyk Troopers, a Phase 2 Commander Gree, Yoda, Chewbacca, Chief Tarful, and then just a regular Wookiee, and then finally 3 battle droids and 3 super battle droids so you can have something invading your Kashyyyk. And then I also feel like they have to include a Corporate Alliance tank droid build. That way you can have something attacking the beaches. Maybe you include a clone Bark Speeder, just something to have going against the Corporate Alliance tank droid, although I'd also love to see an updated Wookiee Catamaran or Wookiee Flyer. Much more likely it'd be like the Wookiee Ornithopter, Wookiee Flyer over the Catamaran because of how much bigger a Catamaran would have to be. It would be a great standalone set, but I didn't put that one on the list. I almost forgot, they could take that spider droid they put in the ATTE and put it into this set because Kashyyyk is where it belongs. And then finally, one of my favorite aspects of the set is to actually include the escape pod for Yoda to leave, and that's why you also really have those Wookiees there, although they're also like on the battle lines. But like I thought like Chief Tarful and Chewbacca to say goodbye to Yoda was a very cool scene to be able to recreate as part of this all-in-one big Kashyyyk playset. So I don't think it's entirely likely for 2025, but it's certainly on my wish list here. I felt obliged to put a UCS set on this list, but honestly with the rumor of the UCS Jango Fett Slave 1 in the first half of 2025, I don't necessarily foresee a Revenge of the Sith UCS set in 2025. There certainly could still be anything in the second half of the year. Personally, for this list of things I'd love to see, I put the clone turbo tank. I would personally have it done like the UCS gunship, where it's not necessarily made to play with minifigs, so I'd only include 2 here with a pair of turbo tank drivers, and then the price would be something like $500-$600 or something. It would just be a very expensive display set for a turbo tank. And like I said, I would have had a different answer, but I think that Jango Fett Slave 1 rumor takes things like an Anakin and Obi-Wan Starfighter or a UCS ARC 170 just off the table as UCS sets for next year. Now, despite the May 4th set not being Revenge of the Sith, the May 4th promo still very well may be. This year, we saw the Droid Carrier, a Phantom Menace anniversary set, as the May 4th promo, and I'm just kind of all in on the idea that the May 4th promo for 2025 will end up being something from Revenge of the Sith, and I've got a couple of really great ideas, I think. First off, a small, basically micro-scale Jedi temple, including a temple guard. While a temple guard isn't necessarily Revenge of the Sith themed, the temple is. We've never had the temple. We need to have the temple. Like, full stop. Gotta have it. Gotta see it next year in some way, shape, or form. And I think a May 4th promo is the ideal way to get that done. Now, this next set could be done in a couple of different ways. First off, as a May 4th promo, the high ground, like Anakin, Obi-Wan, and a small build of the high ground. And it's like a really cool set showing the final scene of the two together in Revenge of the Sith, but it's also like a really memey set just because of the name, the high ground, you know, we all know that one. So I felt like that would be a really fun idea, but the Anakin versus Obi-Wan thing could also lend itself to a much larger dual set or dual diorama. And while what I specifically wrote down was a high ground May 4th set, I think a larger Anakin versus Obi-Wan set would also be great. And I could definitely go for either in 2025. And I think just the expanded minifig selection of a larger set would also be great because we could finally maybe get pregnant Padme. Like, are they really just going to avoid that forever? I hope not, but maybe. Next year might be telling if they make a set and it doesn't include her. My next two wishlist sets are particularly interesting because we basically know the first half of 2025 for LEGO Star Wars at this point, and there's no diorama sets at all. The last 3 years that the diorama line has existed, they've always come out in the first half of the year. So this is a big departure from that. It could just mean they're not making diorama sets at all, of which the timing would be horrible given how much people want certain Revenge of the Sith dioramas and have been waiting for them ever since the line's inception. But I also think, given the lack of Revenge of the Sith stuff just generally in the first half of the year, that they're holding them for the second half of the year for just a bigger wave and excitement around it. So that's kind of my fingers crossed moment of the video for dioramas. I got two of them here for you, one of which I think is less likely than the other, and I'll start with that one. It's a Senate dual diorama. It could also do this as a playset, but I think as a diorama would be pretty sick. You could see it come in between $80 and $100, and I think it's as simple as including just a few figures. You could go even cheaper with this. Honestly, you could make it really simple at like $50 and just do Palpatine, Yoda, and I think Mas Amedda is the big blue guy, just so you can get that new character in there, but it also allows you to have the Palpatine and Yoda duel kind of reenacted finally in LEGO Star Wars. So I definitely could see a wide range of prices. It just basically depends on how much of the Senate wall or the other pods that you want to do, but they could keep it pretty simple and just do that middle area and maybe one or two pods at the back. Definitely have to have a symmetrical look to the back, so maybe two. I just thought it could be an interesting diorama, or certainly if you look at the mock that I've got up on screen, it could also make for a great little playset. But the next set, I think, is almost guaranteed to be a diorama in 2025. And we're getting into the section of the video now where these next three sets are sets that I think have to happen, or sets that I really want to happen in 2025. Either way, a Palpatine's Arrest diorama is something that everyone has been calling for years. Like, as soon as dioramas got introduced, Palpatine's Arrest had already become a very expensive set and people wanted them to remake it. And now everyone's just like, well, when they remake Palpatine's Arrest, they'll do it as a diorama instead of a playset. And a lot of people are in that boat, myself included. I see the price for this one getting pretty high, up to like 120, because it's going to include 6 figures. First up, you're looking at Palpatine, then an Anakin figure, of course, Mace Windu, Kit Fisto, Agent Kolar, and Saesee Tiin. Literally the same exact figure setup that we had in that 2012 set, just in a diorama set now. And that's the way that I would love to see Palpatine's Arrest redone as a diorama. Just stay tried and true to the original. Size it down a little bit to fit on a reasonably large sized diorama base, because the playset's like pretty sprawling compared to what a diorama would be, and then still include the same minifigs, but make them better than they were before, hopefully, because it'll have been 13 years, but we know they'll remove pupils from like some of the iconic characters like Anakin, and he's going to look worse, and that's going to suck. So there's some downsides to this potentially being done the way it's going to be done in 2025, but you know, very hopeful that that ends up being a set. The next set that I think is like a lock for 2025 in the summer has got to be a pair of Anakin and Obi-Wan starfighters. I was hoping to see this as a UCS set. I don't necessarily necessarily think it's going to happen anymore, but as a playset, like, this is a perfect combo to put out. Obviously, they did the Ultimate Space Battle back in 2005 that a lot of people would love to see LEGO go and recreate. I don't think that's going to happen, just given how expensive a set like that would end up being, again, unless some of the builds were downsized. But if the rumor for Ahsoka's Starfighter in the first half of 2025 is true, the Starfighters will now cost $45 on their own. So I'm hoping a combo where they put them together won't be $90, but there's a chance it's $90, with Anakin and Obi-Wan being the main figures, and then of course their astromech droids. You could always throw in an extra figure or two there. They've done it with sets like this in the past, but they could also just keep it tried and true with Anakin and Obi-Wan. Now, while the previous two sets may be far more likely to exist in 2025, there's one set that rises above them all to me that I just have to see from Revenge of the Sith for its anniversary in 2025, and that is a UT-AT. And not because I love UT-ATs. I mean, they're nice, they're cool, it's a unique vehicle. They've actually had a prototype of one done, so they've definitely explored the option to make a UT-AT in LEGO Star Wars before, so like, you know, it's on the table at some point. But to finally get Galactic Marines in a set, to finally get Commander Bacarra in a set, and we could also include Ki-Adi-Mundi again, you know, a return character from some previous sets, definitely would be nice, but I'm more in it for the characters we haven't had before. So in a UT-AT, I envision the price at $150. We would see 3 Galactic Marines, Commander Bacarra, and Ki-Adi-Mundi. That would be the bare bones version of this set, kind of akin to the Coruscant Guard gunship in the summer of 2023. It's just the ship, or in this case, the vehicle, and the 5 figures. Now, if they wanted to go extra crazy with it, they could put it against a large Megiddo Tri-Droid and include some battle droids and things. But frankly, to keep the price down as much as possible to get these minifigs, a simple UT-AT with 3 Galactic Marines, you know, look, the more the merrier. I just think 3 is a realistic number given how stingy LEGO Star Wars is with things. Like, if you look at the Fortnite Battle Bus, that thing got 9 minifigs, or 10 or something, in a $100 set. So, like, I'd love to see 6 Galactic Marines and a $150 UT-AT. But, like, I'm just trying to be realistic in this video of, like, what they would actually include versus what they should be including, just to be clear. So, 3 Galactic Marines, Commander Bacarra, Ki-Adi-Mundi, man. This would be my dream set of 2025 for the summer. So, of all the sets I want that one the most. Let me know in the comments section below what you most want to see for Revenge of the Sith in 2025. I'm almost certain, especially given the absence of dioramas, that they're not going to leave us high and dry in the second half of 2025 for that Revenge of the Sith anniversary. I do think it will be telling when this ARC 170 gets revealed, because it's coming out January 1st, so we'll see it first, if it has any markings to celebrate the anniversary for Revenge of the Sith. Because if you think back to 2023, we actually had that 501st Battle Pack released in January of 2023, and it had a 20th anniversary of the Clone Wars logo on it, and they went on to release a good few Clone Wars sets that year. So I'm hoping that it kind of lines up the same way for Revenge of the Sith, where it definitely starts slow, but once the ball gets rolling in the latter half of the year, we're going to get some killer sets for Revenge of the Sith. Or we could only end up with 2 sets and all be just devastated because there were so many great opportunities for next year. So that's it. Hit the like button if you enjoyed. Get subscribed for my 2025 Revenge of the Sith content, new sets or not, and I'll see you later.